a modern twist on a 1981 romantic comedy classic. The 4 seasons just dropped on Netflix, and it reminds us just how much things change with the seasons. Colman Domingo, Tina Fey, Steve Carell, that's all I needed to hear to convince me to give this a watch. And I'm so glad I did, because I have to say, this is one of the best comedy series I've seen in a while. So let's get more into that. This adaptation of the 1981 film of the same name was originally written and directed by Alan Alda, who also starred in the film. What's cool is he actually has a producer credit for the 2025 version, which was spearheaded and written by Tina Fey. The story follows 3 married couples who take seasonal vacations together, but dynamics and friendships are tested when one couple announces their divorce after 25 years. So the show explores how the friend group navigates and copes with these changes. So the way this is presented to us is really creative. There are 2 episodes in each of the 4 seasons. So 2 episodes covering the spring, 2 episodes covering the summer, so on and so forth. I love the illustrations on the title card used kind of like a transition to the next season, and it had little pictures symbolizing what happened in the episode and for that season. So for spring, for example, there was a crawfish symbol, which represented Danny making crawfish for dinner for everyone on the first night. For summer, there was a strawberry symbol. Anne talked about how much she loved strawberries. For fall, there was an axe. Anne and Nick's daughter ends up smashing a dresser with an axe during her school play, and she ends up smashing the same dresser that Nick's girlfriend Jenny helped her pick out, so that was interesting too. And then winter, there was a guitar. So that symbolized Anne's new boyfriend, Terry, who played the guitar and brought it to the cabin trip. So I thought that was a really nice creative touch. Let's get to the amazing cast who make this film what it is. Kate, played by Tina Fey, and Jack, played by Will Forte, are college sweethearts, and they're the unofficial leaders of the friend group. They plan the vacations and the itineraries while pretending they're effortlessly holding everything together. But beneath the surface, their relationship is slowly unraveling. Kate is very type A, very intelligent but slightly controlling, and basically the social glue of the group. She organizes every trip, maintains the group chat, plays peacemaker. So her arc is about learning to release control and face her own discomfort with change, both in friendships and in her marriage. Jack is charming, wears his heart on his sleeve. He's the kind of guy who makes everyone laugh, but kind of deflects when it comes to his own marriage. His arc explores extreme vulnerability and what is required to sustain a long-term marriage. Danny, played by Colman Domingo, and Claude, played by Marco Cavani, are the most unconventional couple in the group. They're a same-sex couple, and they bring a different energy to the friends dynamic. It's a playful, open, observant energy. And when things go astray, Danny and Claude are likely to sit back with a glass of wine and just watch the chaos unfold. So in the original film, Danny was not Black and not gay. And the Claude that we know in the 2025 version was Claudia, played by Rita Moreno in the film. So as you can see, they made some changes. Danny is warm and empathetic, very charming and funny, and the emotional center of the group, always ready with a listening ear or a hug. And he has a deep friendship with Kate, and I love their friendship. It feels like they're that close in real life. And Colman Domingo mentioned how much of a joy he felt accepting this role, which was more lighthearted and fun, especially with him doing a lot of dramas right now, including playing Joe Jackson in the upcoming Michael Jackson biopic, which I can't wait to see, by the way. Claude is full of life, not a negative bone in his body, and really brings the spice with his character. There are a lot of career differences between the film and the series too. In the film, for example, Claudia is a painter and Danny is a dentist. In the 2025 series, Claude essentially has no job, just lives on vibes and positivity, and Danny is an architect. Nick and Anne open the series appearing carefree and in love, but beneath the surface we see the instability when Nick makes it known he wants to leave Anne. Nick is charismatic, he's an entrepreneur, very likable character. Anne is soft-spoken and kind, but doesn't really give Nick the thrill he's looking for anymore. He wants adventure, and she wants to have more of an effortless life and lay around and play games on her phone. So Jenny is Nick's new 32-year-old girlfriend. She's a dental hygienist, and I love that the typical bringing in a younger girlfriend narrative is updated with a little more nuance. She's not just eye candy or a caricature, she's a fully developed character who challenges the group's worldview. Her presence forces the older couples to reflect on their own biases, and there's a lot of commentary on ageism, both in how the older group treats her and how society treats them. So I really like how her character was written. This series was made in a way that feels like every generation can enjoy, and that's a hard thing to do. They do a great job at portraying the beauty and differences between different generations instead of focusing on the negatives. There are 8 episodes, no longer than 30 minutes each. Perfect pacing. Nothing was dragged out. I thought that was the perfect amount of episodes. Tina Fey spoke in an interview where she said she wanted the show and the characters to feel lived in, like they knew each other for a long time. And she achieved that because you could feel that through the screen. You want to be a part of the friend group. There's at least a character or two that you can see parts of yourself in. The characters are written with realistic flaws. One example, after Nick leaves Anne and gets with someone younger, we find out he cheated on Anne multiple times through the marriage, and you hear that and you're like, that sucks, but you still can't bring yourself to hate him because you can see his heart beneath that. He's a very likable character, and that's phenomenal writing, to craft these characters with so many layers that you feel connected to them. And even though they're flawed and they're making mistakes and they're hurting people, you still see their heart and you still have empathy for them. I always talk about the importance of writing a character in a way we'll care about them, and this did just that. You become emotionally attached and invested. And I love how they showed how relationship issues can ripple into and affect friendships no matter how much you try to keep things the same. But it brings us back to the theme of the show, which is things, people, relationships change with the seasons. I wanted to highlight something that I loved. There was this continuous talk between Jack and Claude about the book Napoleon since they were both reading it. Fast forward to the end, Kate fell into some ice and Jack, her husband, ends up saving her using the knowledge and skills he learned from reading this book. And he just kept saying, trust me. And the significance is that's been a continuous issue of theirs in their marriage, her not trusting him. So her finally letting go and trusting him at the end, and the nod to the book was such a full circle moment, and it's essentially what saved their marriage. Overall, this was such a feel-good series, and I really enjoyed it. And again, this is one of the best comedy series I've seen in a while on Netflix. I was smiling and laughing the entire time. It did a great job at mixing real life and complex issues with comedy and warmth. And I think Tina Fey did a great job keeping the integrity and remaining true to the original film's emotional core while adding a creative modern twist to it. The ending leaves you satisfied, even though it was a small little cliffhanger, and you walk away from this inspired to nourish the relationships in your life, knowing how short life is. So I'm going to rate this a 5 out of 5. Let me know your thoughts on this series, and if you make it to the end of this video, put a palm tree emoji in the comments. My name is Kamara. Thanks for watching another episode of Screen Diaries. Until next time, bye!